Hey, so I watched Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Uh, I thought it was very, very good. It is, so yeah, third in the Knives Out series of mystery films, whodunits. Um, it is somewhat less comedic in nature than the first two. Um, it is more dramatic, heavier. Still some, definitely some funny bits. Um, but it is in general just a heavier film, which works for it. So this one is about a murder at a small town church, Catholic church. Main suspect is a young new priest who was just recently assigned to it. And yeah, there's the head priest is just a straight up asshole. Um, he's got this core group of attendees. Most of them are also, well, some of them are awful. Some of them just have their own issues that sort of keep them following him. And there's one dude who's just genuinely a good dude. Uh, Faith is definitely a big part of the story. One thing I'll note, Benoit Blanc is presented as an atheist and as kind of anti-religion in general. He objects to religion in general. Um, he does think that it's got a long history of being used. That it's a bunch of stories that are used to manipulate and control people and justify atrocities. Which, yeah, history does have a lot of that. That said, speaking as an atheist, I don't think humanity needs to find reasons to find ways to justify atrocities. We'll find ways to justify them. We don't need religion to justify it. We'll find another way. Um, he very much opposes religion. Um, which is contrasted with the priest, who is really smart, and he acknowledges that all this stuff, all the trappings, the church, the Bible, all the pageantry, that it is stories. His attitude is that those stories allow people to reach a deeper truth. He's very much a liberal Catholic, progressive Catholic. He's he doesn't really go for the fire and brimstone stuff. He thinks that the church, religion as a whole, is meant not even necessarily to heal, but to help. To let people, to help people recognize that they're not alone, and to help them find a way through whatever they're dealing with. The the main priest, Monsignor, the Monsignor Wicks, he's a fire and brimstone type. He is you know, very judgmental and just awful. He is, we're in a fight to preserve our way of life type of thing. He's played by Josh Brolin, who is always great. The priest Judd, like the young priest Judd, is played by Josh O'Connor, who does a great job throughout. Some of the parishioners, Glenn Close, who is sort of the woman who basically runs the church. Wicks is the head priest, but Glenn Close's character Martha is the one who basically runs everything. She handles the books. She keeps the place clean and tidy. She does all the actual work, basically. Jeremy Renner plays a doctor who's gone bitter after divorce. Gary Washington as a lawyer who wanted to do bigger things, but when her father died, she had to take over his law office in the small town, and is also the adoptive mother of Cy, played by Daryl McCormick, who tried to become he tried to get into politics, ran as a Republican. He is conservative, and he's an influencer. He's got a YouTube channel that's gotten some attention. Like I said, he tried to run for office. It didn't go well. He's awful. Martha is not actually as bad as she kinda seems. Not that she's great, but she's not quite as awful as she comes across. Kerry Washington's character, honestly, she's not bad at all. Cy, Darren McCormick's character, horrible. Just awful. But also kind of funny a lot. Also kind of funny. I will give him credit. He is one of the funnier characters. Kaylee Spaney plays a woman named Simone, a former concert cellist who is disabled and has been donating lots and lots of money to the church in the expectation that Wicks would heal her. And then Thomas Hayden Church as Samson, just groundskeeper and a genuinely good dude. And then there's also the local police chief, played by Mila Kunis. So yeah, great cast. It's a great cast. It's a great cast. A lot of great actors, and also Jeremy Renner's there. Hi-yo! Boom! I'm not gonna apologize for that one. I'm not gonna apologize for taking shots at Jeremy Renner. Dude's a dude. Just seems like a dick, honestly. Anyway, like I said, a lot of great actors doing really interesting characters. Um, One thing about the Knives Out movies, they are all very liberal movies. They are sort of about um, you know, exposing the shittiness of rich people. This one kind of continues it, not so much with wealth, but with, just power in general. Wix isn't rich, but he's charismatic and has power over the people in his parish. And he very much uses that power. Um, and, it does kind of like he's meant to represent that type of, fire and brimstone condemnation. We're fighting for the soul of our country kind of religious leader. Um, Also get and like oh, forgot to mention one other dude. Um, Andrew Scott plays a character named Lee, who is a former best-selling writer who's trying to recover his career, trying to like revive his career by writing a book about Wix. And like he's also gotten like heavy into like far right conspiracy stuff. So it does like there is definitely a lot of criticism of those types of far right conspiracy theorists. You know, the kind like who push the Great Replacement theory. Um, Complain about woke and DEI and all that crap. You know, the kind who act as though there is an actual holy war going on for the soul of the U.S., which is nonsense. To be blunt, I find those people to be just kind of pathetic. Most movie reviewers or like reactors, like most people when they're talking about a movie they watched, most people on YouTube, if they're like trying to do a movie review, would probably try to avoid making political commentary. Screw that. I am absolutely making political commentary. The far right are douchebags. The people who complain about, all those conservative rage grifters, to hell with all of them. Anyway, there are obviously, as an Knives Out movie, there are obviously lots of twists. Um, Lots of sort of unexpected stuff. dealing with, as it does deal with religion, there is a twist that is exceptionally well foreshadowed about halfway through the movie. Not even really a twist so much as a development. Um, it is very well foreshadowed. It is one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, okay. Now I was waiting for that scene. Yeah, it's like I was waiting for that. But how did he do it? And from that point on, it's sort of like a how did he do that kind of thing. Um, and and then the way everything is actually revealed is done really well. And includes a great callback to a scene that happened a little bit earlier in the movie. Um, Father Judd's character arc is really good, especially when he starts talking to a woman named Louise. He's trying to get some information from a woman named Louise. Um, and he's like sort of trying to rush her off the phone. So he can, so she can get the information he needs. And like, she's like, he really doesn't want to be talking to her. And then she asks if he can pray for her. And that just stops him up completely short. As it gets him remembering, why he became a priest. Why he wants to be a priest. And like, it's a really good moment. I said they're like I said, as heavy as it is, there is some funny stuff. Um, Moment in a morgue where they try to flip where a body gets flipped is hilarious. Which is genuinely one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Um, Isai has a lot of surprisingly funny bits. Um, Kerry Washington gets one of the coldest line readings ever. Character calls her bitter because there's money involved. So, and one of the characters is trying to get money. Is trying to get some money, and he asks her if she knows anything about it. And she says that even if she did, she wouldn't tell him. So he calls her bitter. And she gets a line like, that money is a psalm in the bitterness, or that money is a psalm in the Bible of my bitterness. The way she delivers it is just so cold. Phenomenal line. Uh, One thing I actually found really interesting about it. So, Wix's mother. We do get a story about Wix's mother, who he calls the harlot whore. She died years and years earlier, when he was still pretty young. And yeah, he calls her the harlot whore. And just kind of funny on its own. But there's some phenomenal, like, um, recontextualizing of her that happens later on that I found really interesting and really well done. I thought that was really good. The way they do sort of recontextualize the mother's story. Because, like, you first hear about her and you're not terribly sympathetic for her. She sounds kind of shitty. But then, she gets talked about later on, and you're like, oh, oh yeah, that's true. That is very good. That is a very good point. That is very clever. So I really liked that aspect of it as well. So yeah, this is an all in all really good movie. Still some some sharp social commentary. Um, but also a really nuanced attitude towards religion. It's not really making any sort of specific conclusion. Because, like, yeah, the Monsignor Wicks type of priest, definitely out there. The kind who are using religion as a cudgel against their perceived enemies, they're definitely out there. But there are also, you know, guys like Father Judd who are using it to genuinely try to help people. Religion is not one thing, it is not all good or all bad. It is, like so many things, very, very complicated. Uh, I mentioned I'm an atheist, lifelong atheist, and but I don't judge people who do believe. I judge people who try to force their beliefs on others, who try to use their beliefs to control people. Those people I judge. But the people who, like, use religion to find strength and community, and who then try to, and then use that to help out others in their community and to spread good, plenty of those people out there. And I'm not going to judge their beliefs when they're doing good, or even when they're doing neutral. even even if all they're doing is praying every day to get through the next. More power to them. Yeah, good movie. Definitely enjoyed it. Definitely recommend it. The Knives Out movies are always a good time. And yeah, thank you for watching.